We're back with the bad vibe with Dwight and Jeremy.
All right, folks.
I choked on spit. That's why I was like...
That's disgusting.
I was trying to say it. I felt like a chick on a third date. Second date? I don't know. What is it like in 2019?
Let's keep this one straight. Because it's episode 78.
Keeping it straight in 78.
That was pretty gay.
If you ever run for president and it's the year 2078, your slogan... Let's say, like, if you're running for president, it's like, okay, make America great. That was his thing. Obama's was hope and change or something. Yours would be, like, going straight or keeping it straight in 78.
We should have called him Two Change.
Two Change?
Instead of Two Chains, he was black. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Two Change.
How black is he?
He didn't really change anything.
He's not as black as a guy named
like,
Two
here,
Chainz.
change the whole world. Or, you know what I mean? They're like, here's bad.
No, they never do. The president,
You know what I mean?
the president just, I think it was actually, I heard it from Obama himself. It was on a podcast. If you're listening, Barry, we got room for you here. But the podcast sucked that he was on. I mean, he was boring, you know. But that's what he said. He's like, people wanted you to, I get in there and they think like, oh, he's going to make everything better. And he's like, no, the U.S. government is like a huge ship. He's like, when you steer a ship, you don't turn it on a dime. You turn it a little. He's like, that little turn over the long course is a big difference. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, so you're smarter than me.
And Trump's going to hit an iceberg. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Trump's changing that much. He wants to build a wall, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think he will?
I don't know.
We live close enough.
Haven't they started part of it?
There has been partial parts of the wall down there for years and years.
It's going to be huge. Right?
I just want to talk about Trump still, dude.
You know what I mean? I haven't seen him, or like I used to hear him like every day. I'll go next door, get a drink. I don't drink sodas anymore, so I don't go next door anymore.
Yeah.
So I would go next door, get a drink, and I would come back, and it would always be Trump, and he'd be up there talking like he does. You know,
you're making it sound like
idiot.
you work near him.
Huh?
You mean on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like, I'll go next door, and there'd be Trump.
Yeah, he'd be talking, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. You're fired.
There's no way they would let a guy like you live or work near the White House, right? You got to be on some kind of like, you're not on a no-fly list, but, dude, that's crazy.
I probably am after this now, so thanks.
I remember thinking when we started doing this, and we just say, like, you know, it's not like we say the craziest things in the world or anything like that. But I remember thinking, like, it definitely could end you up in, like, some type of trouble.
Yeah.
The government's like, look, I don't think they're going to blow up a plane. But if we don't let them on them, then they definitely won't. You know what I mean?
They're like, within minutes, these people can be talking about Trump or babies dying.
Yeah.
They're like, we just don't know what, you know?
I remember, because I told the story a few weeks ago or so, probably longer now, about that when I was a kid and we got in trouble at the airport because I brought a toy gun or whatever. I remember thinking when 9/11 and all that started happening and all this airplane stuff, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, what if my name's on a list from way back then? But I don't even think they took my name. They just pointed guns at our heads. And
They pointed guns at y'all?
yes. I told the story, didn't I?
I was there, but I don't remember that.
You were there?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know.
I was very, very little.
We did do this on a podcast, right?
We talked about it, but, I mean, I was very little.
You didn't mention that you were there.
Because I remember it took forever to find our car.
Yeah, you would have been like a little, like 3 or 4, probably.
I remember.
5?
It was that traumatic. And I wasn't even the one getting on the plane.
No, because I was like 10. You were like 7. Yeah, we were coming to pick up Ginger's
If you were
daughter
10, I was 6 then.
from the airport. And I accidentally put a real-looking heavy metal gun. Not accidentally, I did it on purpose.
Back then, they used to let you in behind the thing.
Yeah, you got all the way up to the gate as a guest, as like picking somebody up. And when they ran it through the scanner, they pushed us all against the wall, pulled guns, put them, like not pushed them to our head, but pointed them at our heads. Which is funny. Pointing a gun at a kid's head is funny. I don't care what you think, because you have to point it so low. Isn't that funny? All the other guys are holding a gun straight out, level with their shoulders, and then
like
one guy,
little tiny kid, is that big of a, you know what I mean?
One guy's got his gun pointed real low. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they like
tasing a kid would be even funnier, right?
Yeah, it happens, dude. You see it in the news all the time.
The kid's running away, and he's like, "Why is he running?" I mean, the kid's run. You know what I mean? Like, the kid's like running.
My
and
kid
you fucking tasing him.
My kid runs to go get a juice out of the icebox. He runs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
He runs to
you
come
see a kid
tell
running,
me.
he must have stole tase him, right?
My kid runs to come tell me, and then when he gets there to tell me whatever he needs, he has forgotten because he was just running to run. And he was, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Tasing a kid, though.
Just think if he would have walked, he would have definitely never made it there.
He's like, hey, Dad. And then he'll try, you know how your kid will try to, he'll want to tell you something, but he really just wants your attention, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be like, hey, Dad. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, hey, and you can see the wheels turning. He's trying to think of something to say. He's like,
yes, Macy does that.
He's like, with foot, is this like, it's football, right? And then they run. Because he just knows I like football and he wants my attention.
You're like, yes. Right?
And he's like, and it's the touchdown, right? And that's like a touchdown, and they get points. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, thanks, Dad. And he runs off because he forgot what he wanted to tell me, so he just tried to think of something I might like.
He likes football.
He gets older, he's gonna be Dad. You know how like girls have tits? You know?
Yes. Right.
He's like, yeah, it's crazy, right, Dad? See you later. And I'm like, all right, but
that might be what he do. What he's gonna do in a couple of years or something, right?
Yeah. So, if you had a taser, if you like had, if somebody came to you from like the government or the taser company, and they're like, look, there's no long-term effects, would you tase your kids as punishment?
Like no long-term?
Yeah, it's not gonna fuck their brain up. Their heart's fine. I mean, psychological effects are unavoidable. My dad used to shock me when I didn't do things right.
The tasers made by Mattel. You know what I mean? Like little tasers, right? It's just it's like pink and white. You know what I mean? Like
you just stunt their growth. They're like, I'm not gonna grow up.
Little tykes, right?
Yeah.
But anyways,
I feel like there's fun with little tykes.
A guy at work the other day, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, dude, you'd never believe what happened, right?" He's like, I went to a store.
When people say that, they never tell you something that you really wouldn't believe.
At all.
They're like, you never believe what happened. Look, they're like, aliens came to my house last night and fucked my wife and made me watch.
Yeah.
You know, they never say that. It's always, you never believe what happened. What? It's like, dude, they got gas for like the price is like 5 cents cheaper over there.
And you're like, holy shit.
Like, why would I believe that?
You're all like, I do believe that. No one ever says that either.
Yeah.
When it's something they're all like, oh, wow.
I not only believe that, I knew that before you told me.
Yeah.
We come the same way to work.
That's cool, man, but it's 10 cents cheaper over there. No fucking way. Right?
He's like, dude, you'll
never believe it.
Yeah, he goes to the next guy. You'll never, ever believe this. They're basically giving gas away.
There's a guy, Ripley, like, huh?
You imagine if your friend who said you'll never believe this for some banal story or whatever became the executive producer of Ripley's, and then he's like, Ripley's Believe It or Not, and it's like, you know, whatever. It's like,
he's like, dude. He's like, guess what company I work for? You'll never believe it, right?
But it's like episode 1, Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's like, some humans are up to 6 feet tall. It's like, yes, most.
Gas is cheaper at some stores than others, right? Up to 5 cents, right?
Water's wet. Believe it or not, you decide. Remember that You Decide show?
No.
Well, we'll get back to it. What'd your friend say?
Yeah, I was like,
we're getting better at staying on top. I mean, getting back to topics.
Really? We just started on that fucking Ripley's, believe it or not. And that guy being the CEO and shit.
Were you envisioning Dean Cain the whole time we were talking?
No.
I was.
Anyways, all right. So, he told me that he went to this store down the street from here, right?
No.
Hold on, for real.
Okay.
Just listen, please. Okay.
I'll stop making fun.
Anyways, he went in the store to buy like a cigar or something. We know what he was doing with that. Anyways, he went in there. He got the cigar, whatever. You know, the person put on the counter, the cashier, and they're telling him the amount, and he's going to get the change, like cash, and like the lady behind the counter is just like, she starts pulling on her belt loops,
horny,
and she starts like pulling her shirt away.
Yeah,
and then she starts staring at him.
Dude, I would punch her and run.
Hold on.
Was she possessed by the devil?
Hold on. Oh, it gets worse. She's staring at him, right? And he's like just looking at her.
I'm scared,
right?
dude. It's nighttime.
Hold on.
I'm scared.
Hold on.
I'm a little scared.
She's like, she's staring at him, right? And she's like pulling on the stuff now. And then she just like turns, walks to the end of the counter.
Does she turn just her head?
It's one of those L counters, and then you can leave.
Tell me the store, the closest store to your house.
No, it's not here in town.
Oh.
No, anyways, it's out of town, a couple towns over. Anyway, she looks at him and stares. And then she starts doing all this stuff, right? And then she starts walking down the counter. Remember, he's trying to dig for his change right now.
At this point, he
had a friend with him, too. He had a friend with him, too, and she saw all this. So anyways, this person behind the counter starts walking down the counter.
Like backwards, all creepy?
No, hold on. Gets to the end of it, and then turns, goes to the other end, stops. He says she starts foaming at her mouth.
Dude, hold on.
She starts foaming at her mouth, not saying nothing.
We need blinds on the window.
All of a sudden, she starts bending backwards.
Dude, you're lying.
No, I said the same shit. I was like, dude, you're fucking with me.
Dude, right? I made fun of him for saying you'll never believe
I know. She's like, he told me, I was like, you're fucking with me, right?
Is he like a trustworthy guy?
Yes. Yes.
the Marine
He's
guy?
one of my best employees, for real. So anyways, he's telling me this shit. And I'm like, you're fucking with me. No, he's like, I'm not, man. He's like, I was so scared.
I am not going to sleep
Hold
well
on. So
tonight.
he was sitting there, and that's what I told Crystal, and then she's all like, I was thinking about when I was driving today. Right? She's like, I started shaking.
I'm scared now. The window's
when
right
he was telling me, I was looking like, no. I thought he was going to be like, I'm just fucking with you.
Yes.
While I was listening, I was like, okay, it's not April 1st. Right? I was like, it's coming,
Halloween.
but it's not here yet. So anyways, she's like foaming at the mouth. Like in the corners of her mouth, foaming. And then she starts bending back real weird, right?
Dude, what
And then she moves all weird.
Fuck.
All right? And he's like, all right, so he goes next door. There's a store next, like a thing next door.
I mean, she's clearly possessed
His
by the
friend
devil.
stays there, and he's like, just keep an eye. He goes next door and tells the people next door, hey, the person next door, like, I guess his phone was in the car, or they walked there or something like that. Anyways, he's like, we need to call the police because something's going on with the girl next door. He run over there, and they ran with him, and they saw, and by that time, she was walking back to the register, and then she's like, can I help you?
What?
Yeah, and he's all like...
Tell me the store so I'll never go
He was
there.
like, I was going to buy this right here, and then she's like, what do you mean? He's like, I got the money for it, and she's like, just looking at him, he slides the money and says, keep the change, and walks out. And then he tells the other lady, because she's like, I'm on the phone with the police. He's like, you handle it.
Did he
And
try
then
touching her with a crucifix?
He said he thought she was going to come across that thing and bite him in the neck or something. He said because when she started staring like that, that freaked him out. But when she started all foaming at the mouth and bending, he thought zombie. That's immediately what he thought was zombie. He's like, dude, I watched too many fucking movies.
I thought, what's
like,
her name?
He thought like zombie because she started foaming at the mouth and bending all weird. I said, dude, she's fucked up. She's on some kind of drugs.
What does she look like?
I didn't ask all that. I would think, like, looks dead. Like, her arm is, like, ripped off.
Tall and
you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was just thinking, like, she's, like, tall and skinny with dark hair.
I don't know.
That's what it is in my head. I want her to be
Like
something
Vicky?
else. Yeah.
You picture Vicky?
No, well, I was just picture, like, I don't have a face for it, but I want to find out that she has, like, red hair and she's chubby or something not scary like that. I don't want her to be tall.
I'm starting to get to the fucking... When he was telling me, I was sitting there like...
I feel like it's looking at me through the window right now.
It was fucking terrifying, dude.
But what is that?
I mean, I didn't get to see it.
Was she having a stroke?
I don't know. She came back.
Sometimes they come back.
He said it was weird how she walked down the thing and then turned. Like, he never fucking said he was, like, fucking with me or anything either. He just was like, it was fucking scary.
Why don't...
Like, it was legit. I could tell, like, he was real, you know?
Could we go to the store and get security... What is it called?
Security footage?
Yeah.
It's probably got, like, fucking, like... It just is scratchy during that moment.
It's gonna.
You know
they're
what I mean?
gonna build another Paranormal Activity movie around that footage. They're just gonna take that footage
crazy.
and build a movie around it.
Like,
that is like I'm a little freaked out. For one, I thought you meant the store right down from here,
No.
and when you were, I was imagining the fat chick that works there,
I don't know.
and it wasn't as scary.
I don't go to any stores here.
But then when you said it wasn't this store, that I stopped imagining the fat chick that I know that,
And then I got scared.
and then it got scary because then I imagined skinny, dark hair, tall.
Hair in her face. Right?
No, just
You know
her
what I mean?
face just like blank,
Oh.
and she's like.
Yeah, he said she was just, like, staring at him and starts messing with her shirt and her belt loops and then just walks off.
He never got an explanation.
Yeah, he was so fucking scared.
I know.
They just left.
Just go back when it's daytime. Take a priest.
I think it was daytime. I mean, he didn't say day or night, but I mean...
Well, he needs to go back and.
To me, it's like dark or just before closing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
You know
was
what
thinking
mean?
it was
the
like
lights are already
now
turned
or
off
later.
in the back of the building. You know what I mean?
The lights on the pumps are turned off. When the lights.
She
at the
had
pumps
to
are
unlock
turned
the
off-
door to let him in.
Oh, fuck!
You
And
know what I
locked it
mean?
back when he got in.
Yeah. So no more customers come in or out. It was. I mean, I was like, no fucking way, dude. It was. I mean, that's
That is creepy. No, dude, you'll never believe this.
really. Aliens came down and fucked, right? You're like, I was at a convenience store. You're like,
me.
an alien walked in, right?
Or
You're like, dude, this little Mexican dude was staring at me. I was all bending backwards and shit. The fucking wig was on my face.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right?
No, I think I mentioned it to you, but I didn't get into detail. I am basically a hero.
Oh, shit.
Look,
Was some girl foaming at the mouth and you went and saved her or what?
No.
At a store?
no. I'm not saying I deserve a reward or anything, but if they gave me one. There was a wreck. I happened upon a wreck.
Yeah.
I didn't cause it.
Yeah,
I know that's what
say.
you're thinking. Because you remember when I was in high school?
You're like, it was a white car. I have white paint on my car. It was not me.
No, okay, so just before I tell the hero story, just to level it out so you know that I'm not a full-time hero, when I was in high school, I had a car, a 91 Ford Taurus. It had no brake lights.
Or a bumper.
I could jiggle the wires and make the brake lights work, but then the first time you hit them, it messed the wires up, and they stopped. So whatever. So it had no brake lights, essentially. I was coming home from school after football practice and everything, and I had got Sonic burgers.
Yeah, this was like 15 or 16 years ago.
This was 2000, probably, or 2001. So I had Sonic.
This has nothing to do with what else happened in 2001.
No.
That was a different tragedy.
Yeah, no, this was no 9/11, but it was for one guy. So I was coming home, and we live on this long highway, and along this highway, there's a bunch of like county roads that go off of it that all connect to another highway parallel to it. And I like to go take a county road, get on the other highway, and go home the back way because, whatever, just because I like to go on the back way. So I was fixing to turn left, and I was in the highway. I was slowing down, and I was about to turn left. All of a sudden, I hear like screeching, and I look in my mirror, and a truck is like barreling towards me, swerves to miss me, goes across the ditch, brakes. There's like these two little like fence posts. Breaks one, jumps out of the ditch. His truck is airborne.
Did he have like the horn?
No, but it shit's like it should have
in slow motion.
Yeah. His truck was airborne for what
was there
seemed...
a cop car following right behind it?
Luckily not.
No? Yeah.
So it was airborne for what seems like minutes. And then it didn't hit the ground first. The next thing it hit before the ground was a fireworks stand. It just crashed into a fireworks stand. And I was
fucking
like...
San Andreas shit.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. So I was like, uh-oh. I knew why the wreck happened. I don't have brake lights. The guy noticed at the last second that I was stopped in the middle of a highway. Makes sense. So I pull over there to see if he's okay. When I get out, it's just like in a movie. It's like, you hear the horn honking. The dude is laying on the horn. Oh, and I was like, uh-oh. I was 16, I guess.
Yeah, you killed a guy.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I walk up to his truck, and I was like, sir? And I was like, oh, my God. There's blood all over the steering wheel, all over the fucking windshield. I was like... and I was thinking, all right, I think I should just go home the back way, of course.
Because you weren't, it didn't touch you at all. There wasn't dash cams back then.
No, there was
nobody around.
Nobody saw the wreck. There was nobody else around us on the highway. So all of a sudden, as I'm contemplating if I should just leave the dude here, torch his truck, I don't know what to do. I was a kid, And not only was I a kid, I was a kid who, me and you grew up kind of on the edges of society. We always had that criminal aspect. Anyway, so all of a sudden I see him start to move. So I'm like, oh, thank God. And I was like, sir. And I help him off the horn because wicked annoying and attracting attention.
Sir, you're very loud right now, right? Yeah. Please wake up.
Yeah.
This is annoying. Right?
So he sits up and his face...
Die somewhere else. Right?
Yeah, die off the horn. So his face is all cut up and stuff. And I look down at because he's like... You know how... He slid way into his steering wheel. So his whole body wasn't on the backrest of his chair. He was... So, and I was
like hugging the steering wheel.
Yeah, basically. So I was like, sir. And he was like trying to straighten himself out. And I look, and he's wearing one of those boots you get when you got like a bad foot. The one they give you?
He was already fucked up.
Yeah, he had like diabetes. He had like lost a toe recently. So it wouldn't be that bad if he died.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And he was already on the way out anyways.
The funny thing was the impact of him hitting that fireworks stand was so...
Did he shoot off fireworks?
I wish, dude.
It was like, choo, 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 choo.
Yeah.
You're sitting there watching, right, until it stops.
Then I check his pulse.
Yeah.
I go to check his pulse and I hear one more. I'm like, what? See the finale. Speaking of finale, how you feeling down there, buddy? Yeah. So I'm like, sir. And I said, is your foot okay? Because at first I just noticed that something didn't look right with his foot. And then he's like, no, yeah, it's fine. And I look, I can see that it's the boot thing. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, do you need, what can I do for you? I had no cell phone. Neither me nor him had a cell phone.
There's some fucking asshole back there that didn't have brake lights.
That's where it gets
You're like,
good.
yeah, no, he took off. Right? Yeah, stop.
You want me to go try to catch him? I'll go chase him down.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, what happened? He's like, man, I don't.
You're like, he was in some Chevy, Malibu.
It was black. It wasn't light blue and faded.
Oh, shit.
It had a bumper, that's for sure. No, so I was like, what can I do? Do you need any help? And he was like, Yeah. He's like, what happened
It's
exactly?
like, give me a beer.
Yeah. He's like, what happened exactly? And I was like, man, I said, I was fixing to turn down 121 or whatever the road was. I was fixing to turn, and you were coming up from behind me. And right as I was fixing to turn, this is good. I said, somebody passed both of us. They went around you and me, so I had to stop abruptly because I couldn't make the left turn as that truck passed. And then when that happened, you had to stop and he's like, oh, yeah. I even made up what did that. It was a black Ford. I think it was like an 88 model or something. That's what I told the guy.
And that was nothing.
No, that was all made up.
Yeah.
It was the reason he had a wreck.
He might be a listener.
Oh, he's dead now.
What?
Not from that. I mean, it didn't help.
I was like, how did I not remember this?
That wreck didn't help.
Yeah.
I don't think slamming your face into a fucking steering wheel ever helps you feel better. So anyway, I said, what can I do? And he's like, he got out of his truck now, and he couldn't walk very well, but he just couldn't because his leg was fucked up anyway. And I mean, he's like all bloody, but you could tell it wasn't serious. His face was like a little swollen already. But I don't know if I mentioned, this is a pretty old guy. This is a guy in his probably late 60s, early 70s. So.
Oh, he's definitely dead.
Yeah, he's dead now. So.
You know who it is?
I know his last name, but I don't. I'm not going to say it because his grandson's listening. He's like, Papa?
Yeah.
But, so I got out, and you could see the front of his truck. There was like just 2x4s like stuck in his truck, and there was one stuck in his front tire. And he's like, I said, can I help you with anything? He's like, if you could just help me change my tire, I think the truck will drive. And I was like, all right. So I changed his tire real quick. Now all this stuff, this is what I didn't think about it at the time, but now looking back, nobody stopped. It must have taken me a good, at least 10 minutes to do all this.
That's a busy fucking road.
Yeah, it's a pretty big, and it was like after I'd got out of football and everything. This was like 6:37 in the evening. So I changed his tire real quick, and I said, do we need to tell him? I said, I don't know who owns this. He's like, no, I know him. I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. To pay for the building or whatever. And I was like, are you sure you're okay to drive and everything? Because, he
paid for the building.
I don't know. He said he was going to.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was like, you're sure you're okay to drive and everything? And I remember even
He's like, apparently not.
he has.
What if he had been drinking?
He had no idea.
You could have just told him he had been. Right?
He had no idea.
Drank in 20 years.
That I caused that wreck.
Oh,
he didn't
shit.
In his mind.
What if he tipped you $20? Thanks for stopping and helping. He's such a nice guy. Fuck my daughter.
I seriously considered leaving him for dead.
Oh my god.
I seriously had this. I had this
You're like, damn it, Wheel of Fortune's about to start.
My burgers were getting cold. I got a brown bag special and I was going to eat both of them. And they were getting cold. I had that thought.
You're like, is there anything I can do to help you? He's like, I'm kind of hungry.
Sorry, I only got one.
You got fucking food all in your face.
I wasn't eating while I was driving. That's why I got a brown bag so I could eat one on the way home and eat one for supper. So, oh yeah, if you're wondering, a brown bag special is from Sonic. It's 2 burgers, 2 fries, 2 drinks. So, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So, he was so grateful. He was so thank you. And like I said, when he was telling me how thankful he was that I helped and how he even had kept saying something about it's good to see young kids that have responsibility. And that's okay. In my head, even at the time, at 16 or 17 or whatever, I was thinking how funny is he's talking about how responsible I am when I was eating a burger while I was driving, didn't have my turn signal on, don't have brake lights, caused the wreck, and I seriously contemplated leaving him for dead. Because I was like, if I'm just here, I figured originally I was like, maybe I'll just leave him. If he's okay, that's good. If he dies, what are you going to do?
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. But realistically, I definitely wanted to get him help. When I say leave him for dead, that's to be funny. I was going to go home and call or drive to the neighbor or drive
you didn't
somewhere.
have a cell phone back then.
Yeah, I was going to drive somewhere and call. I did have for a second, I was like, maybe I should just bail. But the reason I didn't want to leave him for dead, it's not because I'm a good guy or anything. It's because I knew especially if he's dead, it's just, I got to say what happens. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? Like, what they gonna, like, dead men tell no tales, you know? There's a reason people say that. So I would just be like, yeah, I don't know. And I was going to stick with the 88 Chevy that passed me and recklessly drove past me. But, okay.
What if it was like a black 88 Chevy that he knew? Right? He knew.
And he had a couple
of
priors.
That fucking motherfucker, right?
He just killed
I know where that guy lives. You know what I mean? He's like...
And that guy does, like, drive crazy. He knows that he does.
What if, like, a guy pulled up in a black 88 Chevy, right? He's like, y'all guys all right? And he's like, that's that motherfucker right there.
He just starts wailing on him.
He's hitting him with a cane or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, so I told
Kicking
that
story. Kicking him with that boot. That would hurt.
Yeah, it would hurt both of them.
Yeah.
Getting kicked in the ass with a guy with no toes, I don't know. Does that hurt worse? So anyway, I tell that story just so I can tell a hero story. This is the American dream. I redeemed myself 18 years later or whatever it has been. So the other day I was driving out to my brother-in-law's house, and there was a wreck ahead of me. I didn't see the wreck happen, but I must have got there right after it did.
Fucking brake lights again or what?
Probably. I'm still driving the same old car.
Yeah.
So I get there and I see there's this red truck that's all fucked up and it's sitting off the side of the road. And then there's like a silver truck facing it and it's all bent into the front. So obviously, like, the dude got T-boned. So, and I also saw that my father-in-law was there and he's like the fire chief and he's like an EMS guy. So I pull off the side of the road because I see a bunch of guys like frantically pulling at the truck. So I figured they needed help. So I run over there and they're trying to get the door open because there's some kid in there. He's all fucked up.
And you happen to have jaws of life in your...
I just had what little bit of muscle I carry with me, you know, on weekends. So I go over there and I help him and we get the door open. And the whole time I'm looking at this kid because, like, it's not every day you get to see something like that. You know what I mean? You see movies and stuff.
It's every 18 years.
Yeah. And this kid was like, and I say kid, he was a young guy. He was a real young guy. Like, I don't even think he was old enough to have his driver's license. And he was driving a truck. His friend in the passenger seat, they had actually already taken him out of the vehicle. He was not as messed up. The driver was all beat up, dude. His face was all like crunchy and his
like smashed in.
I mean, I think he had some like small fractures on his face or skull or something. And there was a guy. The bed of his truck had got knocked off in the wreck, and there was a guy standing on the back behind the cab, and the back glass was broken out. He was standing back there holding that kid's head still because he didn't know if his neck was all fucked up. And we were yanking on the door, shaking the kid all around, you know. And so anyway, I helped get the thing open, and I was standing in fucking ants the whole time. So me and that kid both had a bad day, you know. Because I remember as we were getting there, I was pulling.
He's like, "Man, you're right."
I'm like,
it's more like, right? Because fucking jaw wired shut and shit.
Yeah. At one point, like, because I was thinking that
you got the key to the city, right? He gives it to you.
I tell the people, like, I'm wiping my ants onto him. I'm like, it's better that he gets ant bit because he can't feel anything from the waist down anyway. You know, how often do ants bite you above the waist? They really don't.
They gotta go pretty far.
Yeah, unless you're
then
laying
piss them off. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought the kid was dead for a while because I was sitting right next to him, as close as I am to you now.
So you're making jokes and he wasn't laughing?
Well, that came later.
Like, he's gotta be dead. I mean, that was funny. Right?
Killing. So we're trying to open the door, and I'm as close as I am to you now. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, like, this dude, he was sitting up straight. The doctor guy was holding his head, and he didn't appear to be breathing. Like,
doctor.
A guy who stopped to help just happened to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh, yeah. An EMS fireman.
Yeah.
And a fucking doctor.
But that's what happens when you live in a small town, is that everybody drives by there in the span of 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody. Yeah, but we didn't need a...
It was my day off, I guess.
We didn't need a whatever you are.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you go do this, you go do that. Like, I'm telling everybody what to do, right?
You know, it's funny, though, because...
This guy needs some new tires, right?
So, some people used to have the joke, I know George Carlin had it, and it's been done before, but it's like when you're like he was a comedian, and he's like, you know, you always hear, like, is there a doctor here? But you never hear, is there a comedian here? Mm. It's like, we need laughs. Like, it is funny, though, because, like, I don't have any kind of... Like, there's never going to be an emergency, and I'm the guy they need. Mm. I mean, I do, like...
You're like two kids run into a car.
They're like, hey, they're like, look, something really, really bad and sad and depressing just happened, and we need somebody that can laugh at it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I stand up and there's like triumphant music playing behind me.
They look over at you and your shoulders are raising up.
I am that man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so the gay kid over there, whatever. But so anyway, so the kid, I look at him and he's just like, he doesn't appear to be breathing. His chest isn't going in and out. His face is like perfectly still. And I was like, motherfucker's dead, So then all of a sudden he's like,
spitting out blood and shit.
Yeah, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I kind of wish he would have been dead now. At first I was thinking, I hope he's okay. I hope he's not dead. Then I was like, I mean, if it's either dead or him doing that for the rest of the time.
His mom might have been that chick that worked at the store.
She wasn't freaking out. She was showing that guy. She's like, hey, guess what happened to my son? And she's like, whatever. So, yeah.
His back was hurting and he was bending like this, right?
She's like, I don't have any blood, but she spits out of her mouth, so like those blood coming out of his mouth.
He's got an Alka-Seltzer in there. Right?
So the kid was... Also, the weird thing, like I said, I've never been like a nurse or anything like that, but it looked like his tongue was like swollen or something. I don't know, maybe he bit his tongue, but it was like his mouth was like open, but inside of it was just like solid, like there was something solid. Yeah, I was like, ugh, and it's like because he hit his face on the airbag, so he might have whatever. But yeah, I was thinking like, motherfucker's dead. And then I thought he was dying when he coughed like it. But I think what it was he was just breathing like because of all the trauma, his breathing was like real low, like shallow breathing, so it wasn't like heaving his chest much. And every once in a while I think he would kind of like, how you choke on your own spit like I did to start the episode.
Okay.
I think every once in a while he would just kind of breathe in a little bit of blood or spit or something. But as it turns out, the kid, have you heard?
No.
The last I heard, they said they thought he was going to be okay. They had him in a medically induced coma for a while because he had bleeding on his brain. Mm-hmm. They got that fixed, and then he was on like a ventilator because he had like collapsed lungs or something. But I think he's going to be okay. But yeah, for real, the kid was like 14 or something. I was like, ugh. And so anyway, when I left there...
I mean, he's okay. As long as he stays hooked up to this machine, right? He's going to live.
Yeah. He's going to be in a vegetative state. And they're like, Vermont? Yeah. I don't know.
Really?
I just had to say Vermont. So anyway, so my brother-in-law's house, which is where I was going, is, you know where the wreck happened, right? Mm-hmm. It happened on the highway where you turn into, what's his name's house? Okay. So from his house, you can see. So when I get there, it's like all my brother-in-laws.
Are you popcorn?
Yeah. All my brother-in-laws and like brothers, whatever they're called. Anyway, my wife's family's all there. And they're sitting out on the porch and they're all like worried and shit. So I get there and they're like, what happened? And I just told them, I was like, look, the kid, whatever. And they're like, well, who was the kid? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
T-Bone. They're like, oh, T-Bones. Go to the pit.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah. We're going to burn the steak. We're over here worried about some kid.
Yeah.
So, and I told them what happened. And they're like, well, and then, so my niece is like around the same age. And she's like, who was it? And I was like, I don't know. He was like a young guy. And she's like, what do you mean young? And I was like, I don't know, like your age? She's like, what did he look like? And I was like, what?
Almost like his face was caved in.
Yeah.
Like,
that's actually what
it looked like he didn't have a nose or teeth anymore. Right?
He was like this, because his tongue was real big. But she was like, what did he look like? And
she's like, sounds like a nice guy, right?
Yeah. She's like, stop it. I'm getting a little damp. That's her type. It turns out that's her type. She's an ambulance chaser, not because she wants lawsuits.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. So anyway, she's like, what did he look like? And I was like...
She's like, I'm also bleeding. Oh.
Yeah. So, and I was like, yeah, he looked like, I don't know, he's like a young guy, and he had blood all over him. I don't know. And she was like, was he like... Here's what happened that was funny.
She's like, is he single?
No, but his girlfriend is.
Yeah. Widowed, right?
Yeah. So, all right, in our family, we talk about it all the time, but our family's really, like, mixed racially. Mm-hmm. So when I go to a family event, it's, like, half... I mean, it's like there's black people, brown people, everything. So one of my other nieces who's younger is a Mexican, was standing next to me while my other niece who's white was asking me about the kids.
I think when you have more than one niece, it's a nice, right?
Yeah, this one's actually, it's my favorite niece.
You don't have two nieces.
I know Macy, but she's a baby. When she has a personality, she may be my favorite. So,
she does.
Huh?
She does.
No, I mean when she, like, can talk.
She can. She'll shut up.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Actually, I like Macy. I like Macy because what did I say? Alex reminds me of you as a kid, and Macy reminds me of you now. Like, their personalities.
She's funny.
He's shy and, like, kind of like, whatever. And then she's just, like, she wants her voice to be heard, and she thinks she knows stuff. So anyway, I was talking to my niece. The white one was asking me what the kid looked like. The Mexican niece was standing next to me. So the white one, it's hard. I don't want to say their names because they're just kids or whatever, So the white one is
And the
like
black niece is in the back because she can't come outside when there's guests. Oh shit!
she was eating her lunch out back.
Yeah. Oh shit!
She was waiting to eat lunch till we all got done. She's hoping we leave some corn
Just
on the
washing
couch.
dishes in the kitchen. Right?
Yeah. So anyway, so my white niece is like, "What did he look like?" She's like, "What?" She looks at the Mexican chick. She's like, "What? Was he like dark complected?" And I was like, "He was Mexican, yes." She's like, "Oh, okay." And then she looked back at the Mexican girl. They're cousins, known each other their whole lives, and she didn't know how to ask his race without it seeming weird. She's like, "Was he, And she looked at Marcy. I was like, "Just say it."
You're like half white, half Mexican.
Yeah. Have a braid? Wearing clogs? I don't know what clogs
A
are.
girl?
A decent but not great softball player?
Wow.
Yeah. A B student most of the time, except in science, mostly C's? No. But yeah, she's like, "Was he?" And then looked at Marcy, and I was like, "Come on, man." I was like, "Yeah, he was like," I said, "I think he was Mexican. He's real dark complected." And that could have been just the blood.
A light-skinned black dude.
Yeah, no, I could tell. I recognized him, but I didn't know his name. I told her later, I was like, "I've seen him around." But, so anyway, so I'm there, and they're all sitting on their, like, around the front porch and, like, facing the wreck where there's still ambulances and there's, like, helicopters landing and stuff. It was like,
God damn.
because that kid had to be life flighted.
Trump.
Yeah.
Trump lands.
Yeah. He's, Trump lands. He's, what is it called? He's coming to congratulate the world for getting rid of one Mexican.
Yeah, he's all like, and he's going to the other side of the wall. Right?
Yeah. Get this helicopter, haul this kid south. So then everybody there is like depressed.
T-bones for everyone. Yeah.
So everybody there, like all my brother-in-laws.
Clemson gets fucking McDonald's. Fucking white trash kids get fucking T-bones.
So anyway, they're all sitting
He ain't
there.
gonna be able to eat it.
No, that kid's not. He can't eat T-bones. And he
straw.
probably wouldn't want to. Like, want a T-bone? He's like, "No." He flinches up. "I'll take a ribeye, thanks." They're like, "A ribeye? Like the one that punctured both your lungs?" He's like, "Whatever, a sirloin." And they're like trying to think of one. So anyway, you are now.
Yeah.
So anyway.
His face look like hamburgers. Oh, shit. So his name is Chuck. Crown Chuck.
I like that one, but definitely that kid's name isn't Chuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, all my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws and shit, and then even the little kids, they're all like sitting there with their hands over their face and their heads down, half crying, all depressed. And I'm up there like just trying to make jokes, And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like I'm just telling them what happened. But I'm telling them what happened, but smiling and making jokes. I'm like, the real tragedy was that I was standing in ants, and that I already said. But and I was saying all that, and I was just like trying to be funny. I was trying to be upbeat, and the main reason I was, well, for one thing, I was because that's what I do in that situation. I can't imagine just sitting there crying. But also, when I got done helping them get the door open and shit, I went to leave, and my father-in-law's like, he's like, "Hey, Jeremy," he's like, "Take my truck because the kids are in it. And just take my truck and just leave your car here, come back and get it later," or something. I was like, all right. So I get in the truck, and there's like all the kids, all my like nieces and nephews or whatever, are in there, and I know that they know what happened. Mm-hmm. And I know they probably saw some stuff because they were like trying to peek out the back. So instead of getting in there and being all gloom and doom, I just started like making jokes. And I was like, hey, Caleb, what's up? And he's like, "Oh, nothing." I was like, "Better put your seatbelts on because I'm as bad a driver as that guy." And they're like, "Ha ha ha." And I was like, "Well," they're like, "What'd you do?" And
You hear click, click, click.
and then
all the doors open and then close.
And then I was like, I was telling them, they were asking what happened, and I was like, "Oh, I was helping with the door." And I was like, the good news is, it's only March, and that's my one good deed for the year. I got it out of the way. And they're like, "You're only gonna do one good thing this year?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, not this year, calendar year, but I was like, "I'm not doing anything good again until mid-March next year." Like joking like that, and I talked about, but I kept joking.
You're like, to the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I see somebody dying on March 14th,
yeah,
let them die. It's gonna be like that fucking.
You're like, it doesn't mean I have to actually do something next time.
I don't have
on
to.
March 15th.
I don't have
or whatever,
to.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Like,
open.
I got time, you know? I got 365 days. You're like, fuck, it's leap year. 366 days, right?
So, but I was like making them laugh because they all looked like shocked and they didn't know what to think. And then as soon as we get over to my brother-in-law's, they get out and everybody's all like, oh, and they're like whispering. They're like, I don't know. I hope he's okay. Oh, it looks bad. It sounds bad. What did Jeremy say? Did he say it's bad?
Like he was making jokes.
Yeah, and then I'm over there like, you know how you get that feeling when you know that you're like
2 kids go to the hospital. One didn't make it. Oh shit.
Yeah, but you know how you have that when you're like joking, like you're bombing basically. You're like funny, and you look around and it's just like crickets. I had that. Not only did I have, they weren't laughing. I think everybody was like feeling like, what the fuck is up with Jeremy? And
Like, he's on fire, ants.
I'm like, shit, they're still on me? I thought I wiped them all onto that kid. Like, yeah, but ants don't bite. The ants are like vampires. They only like the blood of the living. You know what I mean? They're like biting that dead kid. They're like, gross, and they move on to me. But, yeah, the kid's not dead. Well, I mean, maybe now, but the last I heard he wasn't. He was okay. And I was glad he was okay, but I also wanted to laugh, and I wanted to joke. And I was trying, and the only person that was like okay with the jokes was like my son or like the little kids. Mm-hmm. But because I've already fucked my son up, I guess. But what did you said something that reminded? Oh, about the kid's name being Chuck. Remember I told you I was at my son's little baseball practice today. One of his teammates is a little Mexican kid, and and his name is Cruz.
Oh,
yeah, his little kid. His name's Cruz, and the coach is like this white guy, like fucking Baptist preacher, homosexual. And that coach was like, hey kid, what's your name again? Because it was like their first practice. And that kid's like, Cruz, like that. And he's like, what'd you say? And he's like, Cruz. Because he's a 4-year-old, you know? So he can't, he don't talk well. And the coach was like, oh, okay, Bruce, I need you to get over on second. I was like, I was so happy that guy thought his name was Bruce because the kid's not going to correct him.
no.
And I'm definitely not going to correct him. The idea of a grown man calling a little kid Bruce, no matter what, is funny. Because there's no 4-year-olds named Bruce. There's definitely no 4-year-olds. His parents are immigrants. This kid speaks Spanish better than he does English.
He's the Mexican Batman.
Yeah, and
right?
You think his name is Bruce. Bruce is like either Batman or like a big buff gay guy. Like there are no 4-year-old Bruces, especially not Mexican Bruce.
A 4-year-old Bruce.
There isn't. Like that.
That is a Mexican. I mean, that's just even more.
There's
you know
definitely, there's not very many Bruces. There's no 4-year-old Bruces. And if there are, they're definitely white. This kid, you can't, if you're that coach, I hope you're laying in bed now being like, why the fuck did I think his name was Bruce?
His name's like Bruce De La Pena.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, his dad's white. You know what I mean? Like,
if that kid's dad walked up to me and I said, what's your son's name? And he told me in a perfect English accent, like, not English accent, but like a perfect Texas accent.
English accent.
He's like, that would freak me out. He's like, it's nice, Bruce, it is. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense.
Like his Mexican dad talks like that. You're like, what the fuck? You sit there, your jaw would literally like open. Like you're like,
I would come to you and be like, dude, you are not gonna believe this. Some Mexican dude, he's like 5'4". He's still wearing his like reflective vest from his construction job, and he's like,
he's got a little peach fuzz mustache.
Yeah,
right.
He's like, my boy's name Bruce, it is. And I'm like, okay. I wish I could do the accent better.
He's like eating a jalapeno. Right? He's just like,
he's eating a jalapeno with his tea though.
Yeah,
like he's having noon tea or whatever. But yeah, so the guy really thinks that little 4-year-old Mexican kid who's, like I said, he probably speaks Spanish really good because his English was like, he speaks
this was
English.
Yesterday or today?
This was today. He thinks that kid's name is Bruce. I will never tell him to. In fact, if one day I'm near that coach and he's like, is that kid's name is Cruz? I'm gonna be like, I think it's Bruce. I want him to call him Bruce. I want him to always call him Bruce. But like you said, what if he's like, starts calling him Cruz as a nickname? He's like, you look more like a Cruz than a Bruce. Mm-hmm. And he just starts calling him Cruz. But yeah, my son's coach. So
you're cruising for a Brucin'.
Yeah. My son's coach is a preacher. And when practice was over, he made him pray. Not made him pray, he prayed. And my son, I have this thing. I never wanted Colin to take all that stuff seriously because I didn't want him to get brainwashed when he's little. If he decides when he's 20 that he's like a Christian, then whatever, that's his thing. But if you teach him when he's...
No, it's not. It's someone else's thing that he's just picking up.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's
you know what I mean?
It's out of my control.
Knowing that is religion, they're doing it. It's because it's their thing. They're doing it because it was someone else's thing.
It was Jesus' thing.
You know what I mean?
After that, all Christians are doing Jesus'
He's like,
thing.
hey guys, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus, right? You know what I mean?
Man, you gotta love each other, man.
He's wearing a poncho. And I guess riding a camel. I don't know, but blonde hair.
Yeah,
But-
blonde hair, blue eyes. His name's Bruce. But
His camel's walking on water. Doing the moonwalk. I don't know.
Oh god.
But
his camel's Joe Cool, like the camels.
sunglasses.
The cigarette. It's cool as shit.
They're like, I thought he invented like chairs or tables or something. Like, no, sunglasses for his camel. Right? His camel's got to see the fucking desert's fucking bright.
It took him a while to put it together to make smaller ones for people.
Yeah.
He's like riding his camel like this. The camel's just walking into the sun.
He's like, fuck yeah, my camel's cool. I wish I could be as cool as my camel. Right? And then people put him on the fucking cross because he couldn't make them put sunglasses. They're like, dude, why is your fucking camel always smoking cigarettes, man? Oh shit.
That's funny. So anyway,
Camel cigarettes, like when like you'd see them, like they did look like cool, you know?
yeah, they do. They look like they're from like Turkey or
Those still like something.
Afghanistan. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Camels are still.
Dude, it's funny that, yeah, they still make camels. It's funny that you said that because I remember I was working with this dude. I think it was Will, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, man. He's like, anybody ever show you this? I'm like, what? He's like, show me a pack of Camel cigarettes. He's like, how many C's do you think are on the back of that? Like, because it's a long story of Camel thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the letter C? Like ABC? He's like, yeah. I was like, I look at it for like a second and I like go through and count them kind of roughly in my head. I'm like, 16 or whatever I say. And he's like, is it? And I'm like, what? He's like, hold on. And I was like, wait, you don't know? He's like, no, I was just wondering. I thought it was like a thing. Like it had a, like
66.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
But he was just curious how many C's were on the back of a camel. I was like, it's a weird interaction we just had. Did you just get me to count letters for you? He's like,
That's cool. He gets his Dr. Pepper bottle. How many B's do you think are on this? You're like, what?
Turns out he's just fucking autistic. He's obsessed with patterns.
You throw down something in cards.
he's obsessed with it, but not good at it.
Yeah.
He throws out some
like
toothpicks.
2, right?
He throws out toothpicks and asks people how many there are, and they're like, I don't know how many. He's like, no, for real, like how many? He's just curious.
He says there, he's like 1, 2, right?
He's like 17, 8.
He's like, I saw this fucking cool movie from the 80s.
He seriously just asked me how many C's are on that, and then didn't know. I figured I'd be like 16. He's like, no, it's 19, and there's a reason. It's because of no. He was
like, you flip 19, flip it around, right?
Yeah, he was just curious.
It's like a camel. You're like, no.
Yeah, I thought it would be something. I thought it would be something cool like that, but he just was curious. But
he's like off a Beautiful Mind over there. He's like drawing on the fucking window.
There's some weird British guy that's not real.
Yeah, he's all like, fucking FBI's after me. How many fucking goddamn C's are on here?
He keeps putting camel packs in a mailbox and walking off.
Oh, shit.
So,
I
yeah.
see that movie again.
So, yeah, my son plays baseball with...
He's like, Russell Crowe, that's a C.
Oh. My son plays baseball with a kid named Cruz. Or Bruce. Oh, I was saying, they prayed. I've always taught my son, not taught him, but when we're somewhere, like, because a lot of our family's religious. So when we have, like, a meal, they pray. So when we do, I always get his attention and make funny faces or, like, point at somebody that's, like, has a weird pray face. I'm like, look at that.
And he's like, dude, stop it.
No, he looks around and laughs, of course. He laughs, and he looks for me when there's a prayer going on. So his little baseball team, they got, like, kneeling or whatever. Like, at the end of practice, the coach was like, you did good, you did bad, whatever. He doesn't say that. Not in T-Wall. He don't say you did bad.
You fucking suck, Bruce.
Bruce wasn't bad, but there were a lot of people who sucked on that team.
Yeah.
But, so, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if y'all know. He's like, but not only am I a coach, I'm also something that's called a preacher. And I was like, I rolled my eyes visibly. I was like, I rolled my head. I wanted to make sure, that I don't give a fuck what you're stupid.
You did a cartwheel?
Yeah. If I was athletic enough.
He's like, anyways. This fat guy just did a fucking cartwheel with his eyes rolled back.
He gets home, tells his wife, "You're never gonna believe this."
He was foaming at the mouth.
He's like, "I said I was a preacher, and the power of Christ compelled this fat guy to do a cartwheel."
Oh my god!
But so I rolled my eyes with it, and he's like, "Lord Jesus, help us win baseball games," or whatever he said. And I looked out, I tried to catch Colin's eye because I wanted him to see me, because he didn't know where I was in the group because he was kneeling. I was kind of
y'all wearing the same color shirts?
No. It was practice.
That's usually kind of gay.
But I caught his eye, and he looked up at me, and he was like, you could see he was excited that I was doing our thing. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was pointing. I was doing baseball signs, like you're calling stealing a base or something. And then the prayer was over. But I just wanted to mention that I've done that his whole life. When they pray, I get his attention and make him laugh, because I don't want him getting all involved in a prayer. It's weird. What, you're teaching kids about the afterlife? Why? He doesn't need to. It doesn't matter. Even if all that shit's real, why would you teach a 4-year-old? Well, when you die, if you're bad and then you die, you go to hell and you burn and burn and burn. All he knows is that I tell him all the time, "You're being a bad kid." He does something wrong and I get on to him.
I'm going to die.
Yeah, so he's going to think I'm going to hell because I'm bad. Dad said I'm bad because I broke my toy, or I talked back to Mom, or I rubbed my dick on him. He did that one day. Did Alex ever get to an age where he was always grabbing his dick when he was little?
Still kind of does.
Yeah. Colin thinks it's fun. Colin,
grabbing the side of it, just walking around. I'm like, stop!
Colin will do
people around.
Colin will do anything for a laugh, And he found out that farts and poop and dicks and stuff were funny. So the other day he took his bath, and I dried him off like I always do, and I told him to go in his room and get his underwear and stuff. He went in his room and he called me in there. He's like, "I can't find my underwear." So I went in there to help him, and then he's like, "I'm cold." So I picked him up. I was gonna kind of hold him and walk back to our room to dress him. And I felt something like someone was that on me or something. And I looked, and I was holding him like how you hold a toddler. And he was with his hand trying to rub his dick on my shoulder. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Ha ha." And I was like, "Dude, you do not rub your whatever I call your whacker or whatever." I was like, "You don't do that. You don't let nobody touch your whacker. You don't touch nobody with it. That you don't do that." But I didn't scream at him because I didn't want to make him give him some kind of weird
That preacher guy's like, "Man, that kid."
He's like, "I'll give you a bath."
Yeah. He's like, "God's blessed him with a pair."
Oh shit! He's like, "I'm gonna choke up on that bat."
Yeah.
All right, that's gross. So
talking about your 4-year-old son,
yeah.
And it's a preacher,
Yeah, but my son he farts. He's good at farting on cue. Can any of your kids do that?
Alex does it a lot.
Yeah, he'll come up to me.
It's a dude thing, I think.
He'll come up to me and he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, I gotta tell you something." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Hey," let's just say we had been earlier talking about baseball. He's like, "Hey, in baseball sometimes it's 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3," or he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, I got a burp," and he's like, and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy." And he comes back a few minutes later. He's like, "Hey, Dad, listen to this burp," and he farts. Or sometimes he'll just I didn't set it up. There was he couldn't have known that a fart was going to be funny soon. And in an instant, something will come up that a fart would make it better, and he'll fart. And I asked him one day, I was like, "Do you hold it all day till you get till the joke? Or do you always need to fart, or can you just fart out of nowhere?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Just subconsciously.
He has good comedic fart timing. You know what I mean? But
that'll be important for a kid.
He said one day, he was like, "Hey, Dad, why'd the chicken cross the road?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he just farted. And I was like, that's the funniest the chicken cross the road joke I've ever heard. But we were blessed, me and you, with funny kids.
Well, we went to the homeroom or whatever, when you go meet the teacher and shit. Maybe it's called Meet the Teacher. No, we meet the teacher at the beginning of the year.
Was she hot?
And then, she's a teacher.
You knew her before you met her.
And then the second time you do them, it's you know what I mean?
Beat the teacher?
Yeah, it's something else. You meet the teacher again or something, right? Anyways, they got drawings and shit all over the walls, and look at this. I put a fucking lima bean in a thing, and it's 10 feet tall.
Your kid's 6. Everything they're showing you sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
They're not going to show you "Hey, look, he figured out the Heisenberg solution."
Nothing like that. One
that.
thing didn't, right? His teachers tell him he's a fucking Nazi, right? I'm like, yes! It's in our blood, man! And some of your blood is against it. But anyways, so...
those brown eyes don't do him any favors.
Anyways, we've known for a while that he has a girl that he likes, Isabella.
Oh, that's a good name.
So she's in his class. And we've been. I didn't know what she looked like at all.
What does he like about her?
We've been
girls that age suck.
We've been knowing. He's like, I know.
I'm just saying, like a 6-year-old girl is
He's
boring.
like, I did have sexual relations with that toddler, pretty much, right? Anyways, we knew that she was like in his class or whatever, and he liked her, and we somehow like he told my wife, and my wife told me. And then I brought it up with him, and he gets all like shy when I bring up Isabella, and he's like, no. I was like, is that your girlfriend? He like gets mad, like no. And anyways, well, we were in the class and we're looking around and stuff, and then like a big group of Mexican girls came in, and I was like, is there one of them over there? And I looked, and he looked so fucking shy, dude. Like his face was like bright red, and he made this like little weird face.
You're not
and he was like doing this, and he like looked up at me and was like looked down real quick, and like we saw her desk because it had her name on it. She walked over there, and I was like, and I looked over at him, and he looked like pissed that I saw her.
Yeah.
And like I was going to steal her or something, maybe.
Or you're just going to ruin it because you're,
you know what I mean? He likes Mexican girls. He's older than me. Damn it. That's
Oh, yeah.
what he's thinking.
He knows you like Mexican chicks.
What I mean? He's like, damn it.
Dad's got cars,
So
money.
he's so much cooler. Like, anyways, he looked so fucking shy, and I was like, dude, go talk to her. And he's like, no. And I was like, come on, go. So he might be banging her in a couple of years.
So he's 6.
He's about to be 7 and
let's just say he's 7.
Less than a week. Shit.
He'll be wanting to bang chicks in about 4 or 5 years.
He'll be starting to like think stuff like that.
Like,
today's society, way quicker. Bro,
because like, remember when you liked girls and you were attracted to girls, but you didn't like. You had no like vision in your head of what you wanted. Like you didn't think like I'd like to bend her over. It was nothing like that. When I was like,
for some reason you liked her.
Yeah, you just liked her, and you didn't, And then when you get to, but yeah, best case scenario, like if for him, is he'll be like hooking up with chicks, like kissing them and like finger banging and shit like that when he's like what, 13, 14,
junior high.
Yeah,
that's usually what they start doing.
So Isabella,
people are like, what? Some guy pauses the podcast, goes over and beats his, he's
got a daughter. Dude, speaking of daughters,
he beats his, right? I was like, wait.
Speaking of daughters that are whores, remember I told you gotta watch that show?
Shameless.
On, I don't know what, it's on Netflix. But
Showtime, I think.
I think so, too. Dude, it's hard to say because I'm only on season 2, episode 2. I think it's my favorite show ever. It's so good. Anyway.
Okay.
No, but yeah, it's just the reason I thought of that when you said like horror or whatever is that there's a scene in there where this girl, her dad becomes like super Christian, and she's like kind of like they're from like the shitty part of Chicago, like the poor white trash part.
They have accents?
Yeah, slight.
Like they don't want to do it too much to where it like.
Well, what sucks is some people have it real hard and some don't because like the better actors, like the main actor in it, this chick, she does it. Hers is like subtle but like consistent. She's like she definitely has a weird accent. But anyway, so this girl, she like blows dudes and stuff. Her dad becomes super Christian, and then he catches her blowing a dude, and he like blows up, gets all mad, breaks out of the family. He starts trying to be nice with her again, and he wants her to join the Christian cause or whatever. And he wants, that shit that Christians do where it's like, you could become a virgin again, You could wear that stupid ring. Yeah, but you wear that ring, and it says like, and she was going to go with him.
The coach gets tight, because they're Bible thumping.
You put that ring on, and your vagina just like seals up. So she wanted to like be close.
He's like water into wine, right? He's like vaginas into tight, right?
Loose to tight, water to wine, walking on water.
He's like expert at the fucking escape rooms. I don't know, right? Oh shit! He's like, I did not think I can get out of this one. Damn it, you are good.
It took me 2 days. They stay 30. So anyway, so she wants to like become like close with her dad again. So she tries to she's like, Daddy, I want to go do the, I want to do the purity thing and go with you because it's like a daddy-daughter thing. And so they go, and he's all excited because his daughter's getting into the religious thing like he is. And they have this meeting, and like the first girl goes, and her dad's there. They're like, okay, you confess your like sins, and then you get this ring, and then you're pure. And the first girl's like, well, my boyfriend, like we used to make out a lot, and sometimes he would like touch my boobs like on top of my shirt. And she's like, I feel so bad. And they're like, okay. And then the next girl's like, this guy, and sometimes he would like kiss me and I could feel his boner touching my leg, and they're like, okay. And then of course the main girl goes and she's like, well, when I was 11 I started like blowing dudes and I didn't like it at first, but then and she's like, by 14 I was whatever, and like strap-ons and stuff, and her dad just stands up and he's like, whore.
He didn't know, or what?
No, he just knew that she had been sexually active, and she's telling these crazy
William
stories.
H. Macy.
That's no, but he's in that show.
Damn it.
But he's like, whore. And I just thought of that when you said whore. I know there's a long way to go. But everybody, if you're listening to this, watch Shameless on YouTube or wherever you want to watch.
Yeah, that's the entire first season right there.
That's actually one little like subplot of a non-main character. Anyway, that girl is a whore. If you have a daughter, you do have a daughter, but your daughter's like little, so she's not a whore yet. I mean, she can't possibly
There's
be
still time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, but I'm saying, like, if, like, you're the kind of guy, you always, like, you say things if you think it, right? If you think that Macy's a whore, are you going to be like, you're a whore? Probably
When
not,
she's
right?
at a certain age.
I'm
you
saying,
can make
say she's
jokes.
17. And you just
that's a little
know.
different. It's maybe when she's like 28. You know what I mean?
Oh, when she's 28, it's fair game. I'm going to be like, Macy's a whore. Alex is whatever. Colin, I mean, when Macy's 28, so Colin will be 28. What's Colin going to be? A convict? But I'm saying, like, your kid's 16, and you just, like, notice. You walk through the store, and you see all the guys, like making, like, comments or, you know, whatever. And, like, you see, like, there's always guys coming in and out of her house, or she's dating a new guy all the time, and what are you going to tell her? Are you going to have, like, the double standard? Are you going to be like, Alex fucks a bunch of chicks and it's okay, and Macy fucks a bunch of dudes and it's bad?
I mean, you're going to have to.
You're going to have a double standard?
Yeah.
Just because that's how the world is? Yeah, but you can't, like...
Yeah, but it's not like I can just be okay with it. It's like I can't be against it either. It's just, it's like, you definitely can't point it out. Not until they're definitely older.
When she's 17, you can't be like, whore!
Yeah.
Like, that'll probably make her more of a whore, I would assume. That's what happens in the show.
Yeah, she was like, thanks, Dad. I closed the door.
Yeah.
Because at school, I dropped her off. Right? I'm like, love you. Whore! Right? Dad! Right?
Dad, you're going to make me late for first period. I'm surprised you're not late for every period.
Yeah. I'm about to say whore, someone else does it. Right? You know what I'm like, yeah,
Whore.
what he said. Right? See?
But he said it not in like a disapproving way. He's like, whore.
She's like, Dad, do you have to say this every day?
You're like, whore. She's like, okay, I'm up. That's how you wake her up every morning.
You hear like, Macy, to the principal's office, right? No, anyways.
You could have, when she was little, like, it's too late now. When she was like a baby, you could have just woke her up that way every morning. You just went in there and be like, wake up, whore, because she doesn't know what it means. Now you can't, because she doesn't know what it means, but she definitely will remember it now.
She's a bad morning person, unless there's food.
See? If you went in there, you're just, if somebody woke me up like that, with any slur, if they were just like, faggot, or whore, or whatever, I think that, like, you're up. You're not gonna go back to sleep after
That
you push
screaming
snooze.
eagle alarm. You know what I mean?
Dude. That thing would wake up the dead.
Yeah. You have like fucking like 8 fucking like AA batteries.
Yeah, we had this, me and him used to work at the truck stop, and they had this truck driver alarm. And it was the size
That's
of...
a screaming meanie or screaming eagle. There's 2 different ones.
Screaming Eagle was the one we had.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. And it was like the size of a TV remote, but thicker. And you couldn't set it to go off at a certain time. You could set it for an amount of time. So if you go to bed at midnight, you'd be up at 5, you set it for 5 hours. And when it went off, it was just like...
Oh, good.
It was a screaming loud
The best
noise.
thing to do is set it far away from you so you get up to turn it off.
It didn't matter.
If you set it near you, you just turn it off, whatever, right? But if it's like up, you have to like, run to it, turn it off.
I would leave it in my bed. I would leave it in my bed, and it would wake you up. Like, it would wake you up in a way
that is not the way to wake up.
Yeah, no. You wake up like, what? Every morning. And also it didn't have a button to turn it off. You had to take the batteries out. So every morning I would get like, in my face, and I would slap it against the bed and make the
other
batteries come
apartment
out.
people were like, what the fuck?
It sounds like somebody's getting murdered in our house every single morning.
Who's fucking a fucking eagle down there? Right? But
I would never, like, a lot of times, even now, you know how sometimes, like, you were up too late or something, it's time to get up, you wake up, and you just kind of lay there for a few more minutes, and sometimes you'll doze back off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'll doze back off. With that, it didn't matter if you'd only gotten 12 minutes of sleep. When it screamed, you were up for the day. Because it would just scare you and, like, jolt you into, like, the waking world. You would wake up and you wouldn't even have, like, that sleep stuff in your eyes because it would just blow it out with that sound. Your breath would smell good.
You know how, like, say, like, you've had this before, but let's say, like, you're asleep, right? And someone comes up there, like, Jeremy. And you're having a dream where it's like, Jeremy, right? In your thing, you're having that, where it's like they're chanting, or like they're like, hey, they're in it. Or your alarm is in it.
I've had the alarm one a lot. It's like a truck backing up or something.
You're like, come on. Right? You're like, you know what I mean? Anyways.
You always feel dumb when you do it. You're like, why did I think?
Fucking Money for Nothing's playing on mine, you know, and I'm sitting there like at a concert. I don't know.
My son's like, Daddy. And in my dream, it's like, Daddy. It's like, what?
You're chugging.
It doesn't even make any sense.
But anyways... With that, yeah. I mean, what the fuck would come with that? You know what I mean?
There was nothing. It was like you were fixing to get ran over by a train.
I mean, there's like...
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a train horn. It was just like... And it was so loud. Like, if... You ever see those decibel meter thing, and it's like, chainsaw close to you is 100 decibels or whatever. This was like 10 times that. I mean, it was louder than a chainsaw being in the same room as you. It really was.
You have earplugs next to your nightstand. Someone goes off, you put the earplug, and you're like fighting your way to it. Like, it's like, you know, the force of it is pushing you back, walking to it.
It goes off, and like you go flying. It's like in those movies. The house just, it goes off.
The side of the wall just explodes out.
It goes off, and then it shows that view, the old view of the atomic bomb testing. Yeah, you see birds
shows
fly away.
Like ticking away, right? It's like 5, 4, and then it's like...
Yeah, you see like a flock of birds fly away on the Serengeti of Africa because they heard it. But, yeah, the Screaming Eagle. If they still make those, that would be a good sponsor for us.
Think of the guy that has to test those, right? He's like... and then he pushes it, right?
It's like, you know how like a Jack in the Box, it's like kind of, you're like kind of scared. It'd be the same with that. If there was like a button you could make to go off, you're like,
instead of sleep study, they do wake study.
if you wanted to do one of those,
this guy's perfectly in his deepest sleep right here. You know,
I think you could possibly wake people from a coma.
Oh yeah,
like somebody they're like, he's been in a coma for 12 years, and it's like, Mah! And he just
wakes up,
sits up in bed. He's like, I'm up. Fuck. He's like,
he tries to get out of the bed to go turn it off, and it's like jelly legs. He just collapses. Fucking IVs pulling out and everything.
His legs don't work, and he's tripping over his beard. I don't know why the nurses haven't been shaving him.
Shit.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I guess that's going to be it for today.
All right, yeah.
I think that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, anyways, everybody, this has been episode 78. We don't know what it's named yet, but we'll find out, and that's when you'll already know, right?
Yeah. At this point, it doesn't matter what it's called.
It doesn't matter. So anyways, go get you a fucking Screaming Eagle.
Screaming Eagle alarm clock at most truck stops.
Yeah, at truck stops. Someone's like fucking pause it to go get it, right?
If you're, you know, like...
there should be an app for it or something. I don't think your speaker could do it.
No.
That has to have like fucking crazy speakers.
What kind of like crazy atomic 50s technology they use to make that loud of a speaker? Like, you know how you see like those like young guys or like whatever, they ride through town and their license plates vibrating because their speakers are so loud? Those guys are jealous of the Screaming Eagle. It doesn't have much bass, but the treble's turned up to 10 or 11, whatever. Turned up to 11 off of Spinal Tap. Anyways,
all right. So let's go back to that, right? Yeah. So, anyways, everybody, this has been episode 78. As always, if you're listening to this, you are the bad vibe.